Rich.
I'm Aaron.
I'm Othello.
And by our fandoms combined, we're Fandom United. Obviously, we have no John and or Jelly tonight, so it's just the three of us. But there's so much to talk about, so we just decided to give you a small snippet of some of the things that we're talking about.
You're going to talk about wrestling all night.
So, tonight is the wrestling episode. Now that John's not here, tonight's all about wrestling.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, it's never going to happen. It's never.
Shh, don't tell him that.
It's going to happen, John. Hold out, brother.
Don't you dare give up hope. You don't give up, Buttercup. But I want to talk about a new show that popped up on Netflix that flew under my radar.
Totally under the radar.
Yeah,
I wasn't
didn't
expecting it.
know anything about it. Was called, I have to look at the title, Living with Yourself, with Paul Rudd. Now, I've only watched a little bit of it, but Rich, I think you probably finished it by now, right?
I did. I stayed up last night and watched the whole thing.
Really?
I couldn't sleep. So, 6 o'clock this morning I finished it. So, I literally stuck with it all night.
Man.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Paul Rudd. I could see you know what, I'm going to just tell you now, spoilers. At least for the first episode, because that's all I've seen. I could tell where they were going as far as the whole cloning aspect of it really early on. But I was intrigued because it's Paul Rudd. And so, I'm watching because of Paul Rudd. And now that the premise is proven out, I want to see where they take it and where they go with it. So,
okay, here's the thing I really like about this show. I like the way that they tell the story because you have multiple characters that you're following throughout it. Obviously, Paul Rudd's character, characters.
yeah, the original and the new one.
And then his wife and, a couple of other people that the story follows. The thing that I really dug about it is when each episode starts, it's, 8 hours earlier, 12 hours earlier, or a couple days before. So it goes back to something that you've already seen, but now you're watching it from a different perspective. And I like it when people take time and show something that you already saw and you have the way that you're looking at the scene, and then you're like, okay, hey, when you see it from a different perspective, it's like, okay, yeah, it just gives so much more depth to what's going on.
Very Breaking Bad-esque.
Yes, and they did it through every episode, where they all spill over a little bit to the episode before it, but it's always, when they do it, it's from a different perspective. Now you're watching it from this person's point of view, and I really dig that. One of my favorite foreign films, He Loves Me, He Loves Me Not. They did that. If you've never seen it, it's worth watching. So anyway,
that means it'll have subtitles. That means you'll have to read.
It's great. You're not going to watch it. Here's the premise of it. You got this girl falls in love with the neighbor guy, and they've got this relationship going on, and he's just really cold to her. He's just a jerk. I mean, every time that they interact, it's just like, wow, why does she love this guy? He's such an ass to her. And then you get halfway through the movie and it rewinds, and then it starts over from the beginning again, and it's from his point of view. And she's stalking him, and he doesn't even know who she is. And so every time that they have these interactions, she's just a stranger on the street, and he's not realizing he's had interactions with her before. It's so brilliant the way that they shot the film.
I bet that sounds like real cinema. That sounds like something I think Martin Scorsese would really love that. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, have you watched any of it at all?
I've only saw the trailer
episodes.
for it.
It's 30 minutes. I'm going to go home and watch some more of it tonight because it's only 30 minutes. And I was really intrigued. And I was like, okay. There were some parts in it that were really funny, like Tom Brady. Tom Brady shows up, makes a cameo. Paul Rudd is considering whether or not to go into this clinic, this spa in a strip mall, because he gets referred by a friend of his who's at work, who's become just the superstar. He used to be a screw up, and now he went to this spa, and he had a life-changing experience, and now he's like a superstar at work, right? Well, of course, he was made his best self at the spa. So it's funny when Paul Rudd's character arrives and Tom Brady's walking out, and he's like, hey, is this your first time? He's like, no, this is like 6 for Tom Brady, which is funny because they always talk about Tom Brady in football terms about how youthful he acts and how at his age he can still play at the level he does, and the strength of his career and the longevity of his career, and how he has resisted the types of injuries that other quarterbacks, other football players have gotten, and all this blah blah blah. Well, now we know he's a clone. So it was a really funny kind of meta joke, especially with football season, just like 8 weeks in or whatever it is.
At least he was willing to make fun of himself.
He's not stupid. Well, I mean, why wouldn't you? Right? You're Tom freaking Brady. You're a multi-millionaire, close to being a billionaire, and you're married to one of the most beautiful supermodels on the planet. Yeah, I could take a joke. Like, yeah, I'm not, So I like that. I thought that was pretty funny. But they telegraph it really early. Like when in the very first scene of the show, Paul Rudd wakes up, basically digs himself out of a grave. I knew right then. I'm like, he wasn't supposed to wake up. He's wrapped up for disposal. He's supposed to be dead. So I knew right then where they were kind of going with it.
And that's the thing. They, even with like the trailer for it, they don't hide what it is. It's just like, okay, here's the punchline. We're going to fill in the story.
Now, see, I didn't watch the trailer. The only reason I watched it was because you mentioned it. So I was like, what? And I went out there and looked, and Netflix popped it up and said, hey, here's this show that you just got a text about. Like, oh, okay. I'll check it out.
So how I found out about the show was through a Wall Street article talking about Paul Rudd, how he was always a star, but he's never been quite to the level that he is now, and that they thought he could carry an entire show on his own, essentially playing himself in 2 different characters. Like that's the whole Wall Street article was about that. So I was like, okay. So then I found it on Netflix, but I opted to watch El Camino, and I finished up Titans, which I should not have done.
Titans. Trying to remember which one that is. Titans. Huh.
DC Universe.
Oh, wow! I have blocked that from. Did they finish the season already?
No.
Oh, wow! I can't believe I completely blocked.
Full of teen angst.
Completely blocked this show out.
I don't know. I don't know why I keep watching it. I have this weird thing when I get into a show, I keep watching it.
Just
even if it sucks,
DC
even if it's
show,
horrible.
Just go watch Watchmen.
I did watch Watchmen.
Watchmen is what they should do.
I really liked it. I wasn't expecting the racial aspect that they went for. Not after it being Watchmen. I was expecting more following along with the movie,
but see, I think the show is kind of following closer to the book, because the book was really wrapped around the Cold War. So the movie kind of transitions that to what we're dealing with now in America, is all the issues of race and the underlying racism, that we have a problem in America with racism. We just do. And there's I don't want to say it's an underlying problem. It's just like a seething thing, like right underneath the surface, right? Everybody knows it's there, but nobody's kind of like talking about it. Even though we try to pretend things are better, they're not actually better right now. So I think they're really hitting the nail on the proverbial head with what they're doing with that show. And I know we kind of skipped from Living With Yourself to that, but I do think maybe next week we can go a little bit more in depth into it after we see the next episode, and talk about Watchmen a little bit deeper and why they made some of the choices they made. I'm very intrigued to see where they go with that. But back to Living With Yourself?
Living With Yourself.
Yeah.
So because I know, I mean, my kids love Paul Rudd, right? Because they love Ant-Man. They ain't gonna be able to watch it. It's TVMA, so know that right off the bat. So I haven't gotten to the MA parts, because all I heard was a little language here or there. So I haven't gotten to the good TV MA parts yet.
Honestly, with that, I mean, you could tell when something was coming up, and I would usually just bump it ahead. So it was like.
So the question is this Scorsese approved? No, it wouldn't be.
It's not.
Wouldn't be Martin Scorsese approved.
Cinema. No.
It's not the film to cinema. So
He's not an auteur.
You know what though? Have you watched the actual interview where he made the statement that he made? He's talking about streaming stuff. Like the new project that he has is going to be on a streaming service.
Oh, are you talking about The Irishman?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
And so it was a really long-winded question. So he could have went anywhere with the question that was posed to him. And at the end, he kind of brought it in and, took a shot against, Marvel and superhero movies, and then it just kind of blew up from there. But I mean, he does make the statement that that's not cinema. And
but he's okay with DC movies. So they
I
have to
think
be,
that
does it have to be bad to be cinema?
like everybody does, just acknowledging that DC movies don't exist. So.
But then Francis Ford Coppola kind of piggybacked on that and said that Marvel movies and superhero movies in general were despicable.
Coppola was just trying to be an ass.
Yeah.
And
okay.
He was just
I think so.
Trying to be relevant and get his name. And I mean, he used to do important things. And
ha!
Wow. I don't know. I think I kind of agree with Jon Favreau. They've earned the right to express their opinion, right? Whatever, because they have made some amazing films. And if they don't like them, hey, they don't like them. Maybe I'm just not highbrow enough.
Art is subjective. Everything art is subjective. So
I love art, but I can't think of a superhero movie I've seen that I would actually call art.
I can tell you when it's art.
What?
Hulk.
So like I said,
art movie.
Are you talking about Ang Lee's film?
Yes, that was so horrible.
That was oh god.
No, I mean, you could still consider Joker to be within that realm, and that is cinema.
I could see that, but I guess in the general sense, it's entertainment. I'm not going to a theater to sit there and be bored by art.
Right.
I'm going there to be entertained and pulled out of
most
the
of the movies that
of my day-to-day world.
Most of the movies that win Oscars are the movies that come out in the winter that nobody goes to see, and you don't even hear what they are till they won an Oscar, and then
right.
So I agree. They're not trying to win Oscars.
They just happen to, and it's not their fault. I mean, they make money. What do you want?
The context though of the statement was that cinema was an event. It was this big thing, and it's not that anymore. It's been cheapened by stuff like Marvel. But what kind of movies do we go see when we go
big event
to the cinema?
Superhero films or genre films. I won't even say superhero. I mean, I'll go see Star Trek. He won't, but Star Wars.
Dude. I love JJ's Star Trek.
Shut up. Star Wars, superhero films. Those are your event films of today. I think it's somebody speaking from the experience of their era.
Yeah, and
totally
the place that I went with it in my head was, okay, we talk about cartoons and stuff, and how cartoons today just suck, and so I could see, okay, and pardon the butchering of this, but what he's saying about
you're just calling
Marvel
them grumpy
films
old men is
what we see when we see Steven's universe. It's like,
yeah,
exactly.
That ain't cartoons.
I'm assuming that it's that
ain't
much of a
cartoons.
contrast for him.
That ain't art. That ain't cartoons. Just like that's not cinema. That ain't cartoons. I don't know what that crap is, but
so I can give it to him
despicable.
and say,
I think Francis Ford Coppola and I can agree on that.
Hey, just I understand and I can respect your point of view on it, but don't knock it. Because I don't knock Steven's Universe to the people that come in here that like it. Because I get people that come in and ask me for it.
Because I haven't spent enough time with it because I don't care.
Here's a point of view that I have. Okay, so Superman or superhero movies are the westerns of today. Yes. I guarantee you that Coppola and Scorsese probably watched westerns when they were in their youth. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. It's just they didn't probably go to it as a cinema experience. They went to it because they enjoyed westerns,
or they enjoyed that sense of wonder and that sense of imagination that sparked in them,
or they were so tired of them that inspired them to make the films that they wanted to see, and that's why we had so many Scorsese gangster movies and all that stuff. Where I mean, he has the kind of movies that he makes are the movies that he enjoys.
I would like somebody to just tell him then, fine, you don't like the Marvel movies, you make a superhero movie then. You make one that you like. I want to see your take on it because I would love to see Martin Scorsese's take on a superhero film. I know it would be a superhero gangster film. I'm okay with that. I don't know. I'd like to see that.
I mean, Kevin Smith said it best when he's like, he did make a superhero film. You know, Jesus is kind of the biggest, superhero that you can get, and people weren't real hip on that film. I love Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith for the win. That's my man.
And he was so political. He was so political about his answer and everything, but he did kind of throw that little dig in there about.
You know what? Speaking of Kevin Smith, the synopsis I read for the He-Man reboot or the He-Man continuation on Netflix does not have me excited, but it's Kevin Smith, so I'm gonna ride with it anyway, because he's my boy. So I'm gonna ride with it anyway. I'm gonna give Kevin Smith the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, I agree with him completely there. And to your point with the Westerns, we were talking about it earlier. I agree. I think superheroes are the Westerns of the day. But if you look, how many Westerns come out in the movie theaters now?
Once every couple of years.
Once every couple of years. And I think the superhero genre is going to get to that point too, where they burn themselves out. And then once every couple of years, you'll get a very artsy Joker-esque movie or an Unforgiven. Unforgiven is one of the best Westerns ever, right? But it was kind of like Clint Eastwood's love letter to spaghetti Westerns of the day. And him saying goodbye to that genre that made his name. And I think we'll start to see like the Unforgivens of superhero movies, and you'll see more artsy.
Well, you're already seeing it.
Yeah, with like the
superheroes
Joker.
Are splintering off into different subgenres.
I don't think we'll keep getting the blockbusters. And honestly, I think this next phase of Marvel is where we're going to start to see these numbers taper off, and start to go down.
I think that part of what that is it's going to be the imploding that the studio's going to do themselves. I mean, with
I do think there's going to be some political implosion that's going to go on there.
Political agendas and all that. But if they do go heavy on that, which it looks like it's going to go that way, especially with the new changes coming at Disney.
But even so, it's like you look at, okay, where are they going to go? And I mean, nobody can predict the mind of Feige, right? So I'm sure he has some, because now that he has the X-Men and the Fantastic Four back, you can do Annihilation, you can bring Galactus in, you can bring Annihilus in. I mean, there's so much that they can do big event-wise. But Infinity War is kind of like the be-all, end-all, like, okay, what else you got? I mean, what stakes are higher than wiping out half of all the people in the known universe? What else you got? Right? So it's kind of like DC with Crisis on Infinite Earths. Once you get past Crisis, all the other events in the comic books that they've had, and the same thing with Marvel with Infinity War, but once they've gotten past these huge events, like a Crisis is like, you got nothing else.
They've shown all their big cards, they got nothing left.
You got nothing else.
I agree, but also in the fact that Marvel kind of dug their own grave by throwing out 2 to 3 movies per year. Like, someone's gonna burn out at that speed.
No. Get it while the money's there.
Yeah.
They made a shit ton of money.
No, I get
doing
that.
this.
Does it make hay while the
So
sun's
they did
shining?
not lose.
They're not losing, but they're
by doing it.
They helped speed up the burnout by doing that.
Okay, but look at the slate.
I think there's a shelf date on it, and I don't know that putting more bad movies out would have hurt that. But I mean, they were putting out top-notch movies. I mean, even the movies that people weren't crazy about, like Ant-Man, which I love. That was
I liked Ant-Man.
I love both of those movies.
I never thought that movie was going to do well. But then I didn't think Guardians was going to do well either.
Did you enjoy it, though? Did you watch it?
I loved it. Yeah, I loved it.
Great movie.
Great movie. It's the first time I actually looked at Ant-Man and was like, okay, that was cool. Maybe they should do that in the comics. Otherwise, I wouldn't have thought he was a joke. Right? I think the next phase, I think they're going to falter with Black Widow. As much as I want to see it, I think they should have done that movie maybe a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in this current phase, especially knowing how that character ends up, you know that Natasha's dead. You know that the whole movie's a flashback and why she has red in her ledger because nobody really cares. I think that's one of their first missteps, and I think the Eternals is going to be a big misstep. I think the Eternals is going to be where things start to go off the rails big time. I really do. I think that's where we're going to start to see some problems. And then Warner Brothers is so up in the air right now. I can't even put them in a conversation, right? Because what do they got going on? They got Shazam 2, maybe Black Adam, Aquaman 2, I'm assuming, Wonder Woman 84, and of course I'm sure there's going to be another Wonder Woman movie after that. But they don't really have... They got the new Suicide Squad movie, which... Now, rumor is that James Gunn, after Guardians 3, is being tapped to kind of take over the DC Universe and be their Feige.
I believe it's Gunn and Abrams.
I think Gunn and Abrams together could write the WB ship with the DC movies.
I agree.
Well, let me see Suicide Squad first.
Abrams could start the ship.
Yeah,
I don't think he could keep it going.
Let me see Suicide Squad first, but I do in James I trust as far as taking obscure superhero properties and making them great films. So
Gunn is the problem I see with WB though. Is if the Warner Brother execs will get out of their way enough to say, yes, do to our franchises what Feige's doing over at Marvel. I don't think that they're going to be able to get out of anybody's way long enough to do. I think that's the thing that'll. Now
they have made some changes in WB's entertainment recently that may be kind of paving the way for that.
I think they're going to sit and watch Suicide Squad and then base their decisions off of that.
If Suicide Squad does better than the original and does good modern superhero numbers for a standard movie, even gets close to Marvel territory,
right? Then I think they'll give Gunn his leeway.
Carte blanche. If he can turn that franchise around, they'll give him carte blanche to do whatever he wants. I firmly believe it.
I'm gonna be impressed if he can do it because I mean you still got a lot of bad elements in that Joker. I mean,
yeah, but I don't know how much Jared Leto we're going to get in that.
He still exists in that though, and that's just such a horrible take on the Joker. And that's my opinion.
Jared Leto would disagree with you. He thinks that his Joker was amazing.
His mom probably agrees with him too. So
right,
just saying.
He also went and got his... Did you read that he used his agents to try and stop Joker from being
the Joker, made? The Joaquin Phoenix picture from being made. Yeah, I heard that. I heard it. I don't know what the truth is to it, if there is any. But Jared Leto don't have that kind of juice. I don't know what he was thinking.
No, he doesn't.
Jared Leto versus Joaquin Phoenix. Who has more juice in the wood, right? It's come on. Joaquin Phoenix's name has a lot more weight than Jared Leto. I don't even know how to speak it.
Both crazy.
They are both crazy.
They are both crazy.
But Joaquin he's got, his name has a lot more cachet to it than Jared Leto.
But he was
that's
in that band 30 Seconds to Mars?
No, he wasn't. Wait.
Yeah.
Was it really?
He was the lead 30 Seconds to Mars. Lead singer. Which doesn't mean anything.
Oh, that's right. It was a big deal when he cut his hair off. That's right.
He made Requiem of a Dream back in the 90s.
Yeah, so anyway. He ain't no Joaquin.
No, I get it.
So to cap off tonight, because we only have 5 minutes left, I know we have to speak on the episode 9 trailer, final trailer that just came out. I don't know. It didn't do anything for me because I'm already going to go see the movie, so I don't care. They didn't have to put out another trailer.
They didn't.
That was just for the people who were undecided. I think personally, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see the back of the Skywalker story. Cannot wait. I'm ready for it to end. I'm ready for it to be over. And it looks like it's going to be as big and as bombastic as their story should be. So I am looking forward to seeing the end of the story and see how it all plays out. How Palpatine returns. What the heck is that all about?
What Kylo Ren and Rey's baby's gonna look like?
Or if they switch and he becomes light and she becomes dark, or if they realize they're actually twins. I don't know.
I've been thinking they were twins for a long time.
Well, a lot of people did who read the Extended Universe books because they thought it was basically Jason and Jaina Solo.
That's what I assumed.
So that's what everybody thought, and that they split them up just like they did Luke and Leia.
Yeah.
To keep to keep Vader from finding the kids. It's like they split them up to keep the dark forces that were still out there from finding the kids and why they dumped that poor baby in the desert and then, made Ben crazy with his Uncle Luke. I don't know. But that's what a lot of people thought. And I still kind of hold on to that theory. I think I would, if they revealed that in the next movie, if they, in this final film, I'd be cool with that. Like, yeah, I knew it. I knew they were twins. I'd be all right with that. But what did you think about the trailer, Rich?
As far as trailers go, I thought it was a very well done trailer. I mean, I think it's easy for the people who make trailers to make trailers.
I was just gonna say. Now, I wonder how much of what we saw in the trailer is going to be in the movie. Rogue One.
Rogue One, yeah.
You
saw none of that in the real movie.
Not
trailers
one.
are easy though, man. Like all you gotta do is
there's a lot of bad
take
trailers out there. So there's an art to it. So the people who know what they're doing, can do it. But it's funny if you watch the trailer for 7 and 8. Start them at the same time, and
it's the same.
They are the same trailer. It's funny.
It's the exact same. I've seen that video.
They've got the formula. It's great. It's worth watching. But I really hope that the movie holds up as well as the trailer did. I thought it was a great trailer. I enjoyed it. I watched it a couple times. Still doesn't put me over a 7 as far as being excited for this movie. I'm going opening night. We already have tickets, and
didn't even bother to call me and ask me if I wanted a ticket.
I'm taking the 30-year-old kids that I introduced them to Star Wars when they were 5. So yeah, they invited me, so it wasn't my place.
I wasn't even included.
Yeah, because you never went to see anything without me. How was Joker, by the way?
Haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was Cam. Cam's the one.
See, the other black guy. Yeah. See, that's best friend right there. So anyway, Aaron. How'd you feel about the trailer?
It didn't put me over. I watched it after several of my friends were like, yeah, it was great. I watched it over and over and over again, and I watched it. I didn't feel the compulsion. I didn't feel compelled to watch it over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to Mandalorian.
I'm so more excited about Mandalorian than I am.
I'm so much more excited about Mandalorian than I am Episode 9.
I don't know. It didn't change my viewpoint from any of the other ones.
Because
but most of us are going to see it anyway, so does it matter?
I think for me, really, it's like any good book. When you're reading a book and it keeps going on and on and there's filler, I want to get to the end of the story. I want to see how it all ends. What does it all mean? Yep. And I think that's where I am right now with the Skywalker saga. I just want it to be over so I can see what it all means. What's the end game here? That's it. And that's it for this week. So, until we see you next week, tell them, F you.